We are working on a system. We're planning on giving every class a quote class mastery skill line.
Hey everyone, it's Spopes. The team at ESO just did a dev stream. This is the first entry in a monthly stream series where different devs are going to get together and talk about what they've been working on that month for the game. A lot of this is irrelevant or stuff we've already heard before, but there are a few new and really important points that I want to make sure I covered in a video. What's most important in this is the fact that they're going to come out with new class mastery skill lines that will make pure classing even stronger. So I'm going to cover class mastery, everything else they touched on the stream that's relevant. But before we get into that, I could really use your help. I'm so grateful for all my growth and success so far, but I want to grow even faster as a content creator. Every time you like videos, hype them, share them with your friends, or comment, that helps the YouTube algorithm know the content is good, helps it get in front of more people. You can also support me directly by becoming a member of the Spopes Army. That's my membership. I have lots of perks, including a new video series of pure, uncut gameplay of me playing a variety of different games. You can also support me by leaving a super thanks in the chat or by going to my Fourth Wall site to leave a donation there. Speaking of Fourth Wall, there's a bunch of merch underneath the video you can check out. And for a full catalog of Spopes merch, go to the Fourth Wall site. I really appreciate you all supporting me. Now let's get into the dev stream, everything new it has to offer. I'm going to show you the salient parts of the stream and jump in occasionally with my commentary. The stream was hosted by Gina Bruno and Jessica Folsom. We also had Alec Varish, the senior combat designer, Mike Finnegan, the associate design director, Brian Wheeler, the combat and PvP director, and Jason Barnes, who my picture is kind of covering up, the associate design director. I guess he and Mike are both associate design directors. It starts out with Mike Finnegan talking about the night market, basically addressing feedback. But this is nothing new. We've already known that the night market had some issues with it. They basically talk about how they're going to address the feedback like they've already talked about in some of the PTS articles. Now we're starting to get some more information on challenge difficulty, which is also known as overland difficulty options. This is rolling out in the game soon with update 49, and we've only heard a little bit about this so far, so I'm probably going to let Mike explain this without interrupting him over the next few minutes.
The goal for Vestige difficulty, which is the highest difficulty, the goal for that is not for everybody to play on Vestige difficulty. The goal for that is to be very, very difficult, or for players on Vestige difficulty to kind of group up with each other. I know that some people are asking about Overland and we're not separating players and stuff like that. There's a couple reasons we don't separate players. I know we talked about this a little bit. Separating players is, first of all, we're an MMO and we want players to play together, and not everybody is at the same skill level that everybody else is. So we want people to be able to kind of group up with the people and choose the difficulty they want. But also, technically, it would be a tremendous strain on the server that would be a detriment to the entire server if we were trying to instance out these zones into their own separate spaces per difficulty. So there will be times, I know that people have asked and commented that there will be times where you may be fighting something and somebody will come around not on that difficulty and decide that, oh, this will be a little bit easier.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just noticed something. Jason Barnes and Jessica Folsom are in the same room. Look at their backgrounds. It's the same room. They look like they're sitting in the same spot. Wait, how is this possible? Is she right next to the window and he's a little bit further off? Yeah, I think they're married. I think they live in the same house. Oh man, that's tripping me out. Okay, anyway, back to Mike's explanation.
You're going to get the challenge level that you want, and you're going to probably be able to find zones that you're not going to run into that to people all over the place anyways. So the hope is players will be able to find the challenge they want, and then there will be some times where they'll run into, which is no different than it is now. If you run in and then somebody else comes in and just bum rushes and destroys something, that's kind of the experience that you could have now. The best way to answer questions is for players to play it and test it. And so once it goes up to PTS, and once it becomes, once it goes live, that is going to be the best criteria. That everything right now is kind of like theory crafty. What does this mean on the back end? That kind of stuff. Without actually testing it. So by all means, you can provide feedback. It's just we're gonna really temper it for the meantime until we get really, really raw data and get people in there to experience and stuff.
This is something Mike keeps saying. He was saying about night market too. I skipped over that part, and it kind of weirds me out, honestly. Like, why do we have to wait for it to be live to get the data? I don't know. I mean, they should run an alpha or something where a few select people are allowed to come in and try it, up to like 100 people or so they have a reasonable data set to work with. But again, like, why are we even testing if you're not going to know anything until it's actually live? Anyway, continuing on.
So this is a 1-bar Arcanist build. It's a pure Arcanist class, so it's not subclassed or anything. But I just brought it up, so if you see this is the current UI over here on the left for challenge difficulty. You can see it's very pretty. I'm currently on adventure difficulty. This is your current base game of what this looks like. So I'm gonna go ahead and kill these monsters and just melt them because that's the experience.
And you don't have any like special dev buffs on
Nope.
or anything.
Nope.
This is just a
This is
normal
just
character.
Okay, so now I've changed to vestige difficulty.
All right, we're going to see it on super hard now.
You're going to see a little bit of a difference here.
Not a huge difference, though, honestly. He's getting damaged more for sure. That honestly wasn't as different as I was thinking it would be. I'm assuming world bosses are going to be a lot harder, but clearing mobs on vestige does not seem like it's that much harder.
On that point, because there are people that have talked about like, oh, it'd be great if you added monster abilities. The one thing I want to point out is monsters actually have abilities. It's just the quickness with which you kill them right now, you probably don't see them. You inherently will see more monster abilities now because they are not dying in 2 seconds. Another side effect of this that I thought was really interesting, especially as we see it in Lion's Den here, is for these one-off monsters here that are not tied to like packs or even ones that are tied to packs, there is actually incentive to do things like Blade of Woe because these monsters are harder and Blade of Woe is not affected by that. So you can still do your one-shot attacks. I'm going to take out this pack and then I'm going to probably run over here and...
Oh, he almost died right there. Yeah, the damage increase is crazy.
I am going to cheat because I'm going to fly over to where a champion is. This is one of the champions. It also has a young bear in here. Or
Let's see how hard this
bear,
is.
and it has a den mother. I can't promise that I won't die here.
All right, so you are on the hardest difficulty setting possible for challenge difficulty, trying to solo a champion.
Oh.
This isn't even a world boss.
No,
right?
This is just a champion.
Just a champion.
Yeah, he's getting hit
Stop
hard.
dodge rolling so much. No, you have to.
I
Dodge
have to. I have
You will
to.
die instantly.
All right, got
Okay.
it. But if you
killed the
saw,
bear.
that was I killed the bear, and that was actually fairly challenging.
Yeah, this is like the difficulty I remember in ESO from 10 years ago. Like when you got to one of the high-level zones and things were actually challenging. This is going to be a lot of fun for people who miss the pre-1 Tamriel days, people who want to have a challenge in public dungeons, other overland content. This honestly feels better than I thought it would. They still have to fix the UI and do some work here, but I'm liking seeing this in practice more than I thought I would. So now they're about to address one of the most important questions, which is what happens when you're in a group and people have different difficulty settings on.
Finn, let's say you're in a group and each person in your group has a different difficulty set. How does that work?
Well, the debuff is on yourself. So I would take 600% more damage in vestige, but anybody else would only take X percentage more damage and do X percentage less damage based on their own individual preference.
So basically what we all thought, you're going to be able to be in vestige and group with somebody on adventurer/normal. They can clear everything for you and you get all the extra buffs to XP and gold. So I feel like this is a major flaw inherently with the system, but they're just leaving it the way it is, and that's just how it's going to be, I guess. And now we're going to talk about the rewards in challenge difficulty and how generally unrewarding they are.
There's been a lot of feedback about the rewards that people get for increasing the difficulty.
Yes.
Golden XP, you get more of each.
Yes, you get more golden XP depending on the difficulty that you've selected, yes.
Is that like a starting point for you all?
Yes.
Just to kind of see
very much.
how it goes?
People have accurately pointed out that there's ways that you could potentially abuse the system, for lack of a better word, or use the system to gain some rewards and stuff like that. And that's part of the consideration that we have around golden XP. As an initial reward structure, we wanted players to be able to get rewarded, but solving the exploit kind of situation.
I honestly don't see how they can get around the exploit possibility. Like I was just describing, where you could be on vestige, someone else is on normal, they're clearing it for you. I don't know how they're going to be able to add more rewards later. They're going to talk in a moment about golden pursuits, but it seems like that might just be it.
We'll want to layer on increased rewards in the future. A good example, though, of something that is going to go live a couple weeks probably after challenge difficulty is we're going to launch a Golden Pursuit campaign that is geared towards challenge difficulty. So you'll have specific golden pursuits that are looking at the ways that you engage with the challenge difficulty system and stuff. We're still working out kind of the details and the very specifics of that, but there is going to be a golden pursuit campaign that we're going to do that. And the system is built for us to be able to do that in the future. So we'll have potentially quests that say, that will give different rewards based on, or different experiences based on whichever challenge difficulty you're engaging with and stuff like that. So yeah, this is the first blush, the first stab at it, so to speak. And then we're going to take a look at players and how they're engaging it and what they're doing and stuff like that, and then find ways to layer onto the system to make it even more enticing stuff.
I do like the idea of having quests give you different rewards depending on which challenge difficulty you personally complete them on, and the idea of golden pursuits that are geared towards challenge difficulty. I'm just glad they're putting this out there. It's definitely inchoate at the moment, but I do believe they're going to make it more rewarding as time goes by.
Jason, you're in the hot seat.
I bring information that we haven't really talked about yet that takes place after season 0, but I also have been warned not to give away too much, so I'm trying to keep
Just a tease.
Yeah. For anyone who has noticed, yes, Jess and I are in the same room. Like literally, that's my hand.
Okay, thank God they're finally addressing it. Yes, they do live together. That was really tripping me out. Okay, but he's going to talk about some stuff that we haven't heard about before. Let's see what Jason has to say.
We're going to talk a little bit about what's coming in season 1. So after the night market, as well as I brought a couple of fun little gifts to show off. Before we kind of dive into it, though, one of the things I want to just bring up and kind of discuss, because we've seen it a lot, is where's the new zone, right? Like, are we getting as much content if we're not doing a brand new zone in the first couple of seasons? And one of the things I want to talk a little bit about is kind of our new design shift and philosophy of what we're doing. So
yes, I have personally heard this ad nauseum, like it's my fault as a creator. And, I don't know, guys. It does seem, based on everything that I've put together, that Winterhold is coming at the end of this year. That's not confirmed, though, at least not yet. We'll see what he has to say. But I really don't think there's going to be less content going forward. I've addressed this multiple times already. But here comes Jason to my rescue. Let's find out what he has to say.
Yes, new zones will be happening, right? Like we're not going to ever get away from that. But one of the things that we are looking to do is not only expand the storyline and kind of keep that moving forward, because we have committed to actually moving the timeline forward. We're sticking to that. Every release takes place further in the timeline, so we can set up more continuous stories and things like that. So we're still going to have lots of quests and things like that that push the timeline forward and give people, exactly what they want. But on top of that, one of the goals of the team is to get a little bit more away from the standard formula of a lot of things, which we'll learn more about in the coming weeks. But we want to kind of expand the types of content in the game, add a little bit more breadth to the world, more things to do, new types of content systems. So, it might not be like, hey, here's a giant zone and you have X objectives, delves, world bosses, things like that. We're still adding like brand new storylines, new quests, but we're also adding content that's going to be in the form of some new systems that we'll talk a little bit about. As a matter of fact, I'll give you a little hint of a couple of them that are coming with season 1. Again, without kind of giving too much away. You may have all seen these like season 1 deck or whatever we showed during one of the official reveals, but there is 3 new things on there that were a little different. A couple of the things that we're doing is you may have seen things called rumors, favors, and something known as the Sage's Vault. These are all new types of content that we're introducing to the game that'll come out alongside of the Thieves Guild and the Sheogorath Questlines and stuff like that too. So without giving too much away, because again, we're going to dive into a lot of details about that soon, I will say favors are a new type of repeatable content that has like a narrative hook to it that tells a kind of overarching story as you do more of them, and there's more things to do that send you all over the world.
Dude, what is he talking about here? He has to be so vague. That doesn't even make any sense. It sounds cool. Favors sound cool.
Again, try not to get too detailed without giving too much away. Rumors is a brand new type of content system that you're going to find hidden throughout the world that are different than quests. They make you use your brain a little bit more. They're not really guided as much as quests are, and I'll leave it at that. Think of them as kind of like riddles and things that you're going to have to figure out.
So, like mini game quest puzzles? That sounds pretty cool. Rumors. All right.
And then the Sage's Vault, I know people have talked about that, asked about that. It is a brand new type of content, something very experimental that we've really never done before, that going to have a lot of replayability built into the system with a story and everything like that. So I will leave that there at a very high level for that stuff.
It's kind of sounding like the Sage's Vault might be like a new Infinite Archive, but different, but something with the same sort of replayability, the same depth as the Infinite Archive. Okay.
There's a lot coming, and a lot of that content is going to fill in things like we would normally do, like the delves and stuff like that, right? Rather than just do 6 more delves where we always know what we're going to get, we're trying to add more different types of content and new systems and spread it all throughout the game. So there's new things for people to do, and then continue to add on and create more of those systems as we go along. So with the Sheogorath questline that we have coming, it is a full questline. It's like a main story questline length that's going to bring you all around the world, and all to like a lot of pre-existing zones. But the cool thing about it is we're adding a bunch of stuff to the world. So as we continue to develop, we're upgrading zones in a way, adding new locations to zones, kind of building up the world to make it feel more alive. So as you go to different places in the world, like East March or Vardenfell and other different areas, there's going to be brand new locations that have spun up that are involved with the quest that you can go explore. And that's one of the big things that we're going to continue to do, is just adding to the world, adding more stuff to it to make some of these older zones just have more things to do in them.
I really like the sound of this so far, updating the older zones with new content. They did mention back at the end of 2024 in Matt Fear's final letter as a studio director that they are going to be giving the same treatment they've done to the starter islands to all the Alliance zones. I want to hear more about that, but adding new points of interest within the older zones is almost as good in my opinion. I wonder if they've put that other project on the shelf for now while they're doing all this other stuff.
Couple little concept pieces that I brought just to show off. So this first one is a new puzzle that you're going to encounter during the Sheogorath quest. It's this kind of cool spinning head statue that will be involved in the quest line. And again, these are like early concepts. We just want to show and just give you a little preview of things to come. And then the other thing, part of the Sheo quest, we have a new tome shell creature that is Sheogorath kind of oriented, has a brand new skin and new like fun butterfly VFX and things like that. This little guy actually plays a pretty important role throughout the quest line, which is fun. Switching gears a little bit, just to kind of give an early preview of the Thieves Guild content coming out.
Now we're going to learn some more about the Thieves Guild questline that's coming soon in the game.
For anyone who doesn't recognize this character, Quinn from the original Thieves Guild is coming back. She has got a new outfit, and we're actually doing a sequel to the Thieves Guild. So this is it runs parallel. Well, not parallel. It's in a different location. It's a base game location, hint, hint. That may have also, I saw someone mention something about an art refresh, and are we still doing that with zones? The answer is yes.
Thank you. Okay, they finally addressed it. I should have waited a couple minutes, but yes, this is what I've been waiting for so long. A refresh. He said it's an art refresh of the base zones. Just reskinning them is what I call it. There's confirmation they are still doing that. Thank the Lord. Okay.
The zone this takes place in also does have a little bit of a refresh. Quinn is basically in this new area, starting up a new part of the Thieves Guild, and I'm not going to give too much away, but she's one of the main characters with a whole new cast of characters as you build the new guild up and kind of go through some fun stuff that you're going to have to deal with. Other things, just to kind of call out too, we have a new logo for the Thieves Guild, the right place.
Oh, cool.
So this is going to be our upcoming logo for the new Thieves Guild. The one on the left is the one you'll see in game. The one on the right, I can't give any spoilers about it, but this is kind of going to be their variation of the organization's logo for
Very
this.
interesting.
And then the third fun little screenshot I brought is some new interior designs that we've been designing, new building types, new ways to hide behind stuff.
This has got to be
more
Glenumbra.
stuff to hide in. We did a big pass just on kind of a general like more interactivity with the Thieves Guild system and like stealth and things like that. So again, we'll dive into a lot more details with that as we get closer to the next couple of weeks. Because we are moving the timeline forward, one of the things we are investigating is giving little warning pop-ups when you start something maybe out of the chronological order. So a good example here is for Thieves Guild 2, as I'll call it. If you try to do this quest first, you can if you want, but it'll give you a little warning pop-up saying that this is a sequel in the story and point you to the first quest if you want to do it all in order. So we're trying to look at more things that help people play things in chronological order if they want, and or that way, you know, it gives them more opportunities if they don't happen to know. We're gonna look at that throughout the game as well, just to try to help out in ways that we can for those people who do want to play in the specific order that we kind of released in, and the story kind of flows in that way, giving people more opportunities to have a reference or something that makes it easier for them to do that.
Well, that's awesome because it's currently completely broken. It's up to me in my videos to tell people how to do the quests in chronological order. It should be apparent within the game. I'm glad they're addressing this problem.
We had a lot of DK changes that were on the PTS recently, a lot of iterations, a lot of feedback that came in. Why don't you all, I guess, kind of start with DK stuff, just kind of recapping where we're at.
We're going to hear from Brian Wheeler now, and I'm probably going to skip through some of this because the Dragon Knight changes, all that drama has been fully documented already in a series of articles and PTS forum articles, but he is going to get into some really interesting stuff in a few minutes.
One of the things we mentioned earlier, and this is where we're going to get into some sneak peek territory for the future. We know that feedback about the DK, while positive, still has the feedback out there that this doesn't necessarily complete numerically for the top tier min-max players out there. And we've sort of hinted that we are working on a system. We could probably pull a little bit of the curtain back on this now, where we're planning on giving every class a quote class mastery skill line, where we're going to give you capabilities to, through passives, give you some more power that you would get if you pure class, is what we're sort of calling it.
Here we go. This is the most important part of the stream, in my opinion. Ever since subclassing came out, people have been proposing this to me as a possible solution. They've even used the term class mastery in the comments sometimes. Something where you keep your pure class and then you get extra buffs or boons from doing that. They are adding this into the game. This is our first look at class mastery in the Elder Scrolls Online, and I am stoked to check this out.
There's a couple examples here on the screen, but Alec, if you wanted to go in some like the philosophy behind this outside of just we're trying to make up some power gap for you, like there's definitely some under the hood stuff that we're looking at here for whether you're just a broad-based player or tanking support, DPS.
So one of the biggest things that we've seen since subclassing came out has been this idea that it feels like it's a downgrade to stay true to your class, despite having like these strong kind of emotional attaches where you really might like the identity of a certain thing, but playing it feels notably weaker. And part of that comes with just like the territory of the more choice and power we give you to make your own decisions, the more likely you are to tweak things to your power level of what you're looking for. And that's a good thing. That's a part of the feature, and that's what we wanted is let's give players more control, make them make their own builds and do cool things with that. But at the same time, we don't want to create a case where it feels like a loss or the wrong decision to stay true to your class. So we've been talking for a while about finding ways to do that without just nerfing subclassing, because we don't want to create that case or that sensation. Right. So what we've been investigating is creating a case where if you stay true to your class and you've mastered it, so you've reached level 50 in all of your skill lines and you don't actively subclass, you gain access to this skill line where you can pick 2 passives from. And that's just how it works right now. Things are very experimental. This is going to be something that we toy with and see, do we need to grow it or keep it simpler? This is very aimed at solving, again, that problem of making sure that staying true to your class still feels impactful at that numerical or like power level where it's like, okay, I don't have to run Fate Carver. I don't have to sacrifice these abilities that I like because these ones are just do more damage or more healing or whatever. We're starting with 5 passives and you can pick any 2 of them. You get to play around with them. They don't cost skill points. There's a lot of cool stuff that we're using new tech-wise. It's highly experimental, but we're trying to make sure things are relatively agnostic, that each one of these passives can do something for any build. Some are going to be more role focused than others. Some might increase your damage. Some might increase your ulti-gen, your resource management, your survivability. But this is something that we kind of are just toying around with and experimenting to see, hey, can we make sure that like playing as a Nightblade is just as effective or relatively effective, maybe even better in some cases, depending on the context, than subclassing and min-maxing that system.
I gotta say, I really approve of this. I think this is the answer to subclassing. I think the idea of being able to pick 2 out of 5 without having to invest any skill points is really interesting. I'm really hoping this works out in the end. I know some typos in the tooltips, so it's definitely in early stages here. This is a great thing for people who like pure class builds like me. I still run pure Sork and pure Templar, and now you're going to be able to make your pure classes even stronger through these extra passives. So good job to the team for listening to the feedback and coming up with something that's really in line with what the community actually wants. This is yet another sign that they're really listening and incorporating our feedback these days, which is just a good sign for the future of the game in general.
So this is very aimed at the numerical, like power gamer kind of aspect, while also still enhancing kind of class identity, flavor, and that sort of thing too.
It's hard to tell exactly from what they're saying, but it's looking like this new class mastery system is going to come in June with update 50, so at the beginning of the summer.
Trying to be
No,
kind
that's
of
the
vague,
plan.
but all right, great.
Now, again, considering it's still in progress, 50 is what we want, as all things with development, as we saw with Mike's with the question marks. Like, if they can't get those things filled, well, maybe. But it's very much a case where we're shooting for 50.
Yeah, he just confirmed they're aiming for update 50 with the release of Class Mastery. All right, and now they're just kind of chuckling and babbling to each other for 10 minutes, and the stream is over. So the main thing I got out of this is that Overland difficulty looks a lot better than I was expecting, or as they're calling it, challenge difficulty, that they do have a lot of content planned to come out over this year. The Sheogorath Questline, they're still working on refreshing the starter zones, or the alliance zones. They're coming out with rumors, other types of new content that's being added into the base game, a new Thieves Guild questline. But the main thing that was really striking to me here is the reveal of class mastery. People have been so upset about subclassing, and I think a lot of it has been justified. And I really do think the class mastery system is going to resolve it. So in the comments, let me know what you guys thought about this stream, what you think about class mastery, everything else that was revealed. Let me know what you think about how I handled presenting the information. I was originally thinking of covering this live while it was coming out in a live stream, but I thought putting it into an edited video would be more accessible for you guys. Let me know if you appreciate that approach. It is a lot of work, but I like doing it for you guys. And speaking of a lot of work, I do put a lot of love into this channel, and I could really use your support. Whether it's leaving a super thanks in the comments, donating on Fourth Wall, buying some merch, or becoming a member of the Spopes army, I'd really appreciate it if you supported me. God bless all of you who have. Thank you so much for helping me with the channel. And remember, you can also support me passively just by liking, subscribing, hyping, and sharing. I'm still not quite ready for the full reveal yet, but my sponsorship deal has gone through. You're going to see some new video material out covering that soon. And I do have a discount code ready for you guys if you want to pick up some apparel. Just join the Discord, I'll share it with you. And here soon in the near future, I'm going to make the whole thing public. So thanks for watching this somewhat longer video to the end, guys. As always, I'm going to finish up with a prayer to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Lord Jesus, thank you for ESO as a game. Thank you for making it a place for all of us to congregate and enjoy wonderful stories, enjoyable experiences. Thank you for the new approach the ESO development team is taking, for listening to feedback, for being more transparent, for communicating with us better. Lord, please bless ESO as it makes these many changes. Please help them pay off. Make the game amazing and future-proof for years to come. Lord, I thank you for making it possible for me to make this video today. Thank you for my channel. I give all glory to you for the video and for my channel. Lord, please be with all of my viewers and subscribers and members. And anyone who's struggling to walk in the footsteps of Jesus, guide them with your gentleness, and guide all those recently departed to your side. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. So again, thanks for watching, everyone. I could really use your support. Just become a member if you haven't already. I did realize today that they charge more if you become a member on mobile, so go log in on desktop and become a member there. And also don't forget to like and hype and share. And please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And when you do subscribe, turn on notifications, because I'll be back soon with new content.